What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? It is Tuesday, and you guys know what goes down here on Tuesday. Yes, Wife Chat with Gail goes down here on Tuesday on Facebook. So do me a favor. I know that all you guys are probably just getting in from voting. Hello, Johanna. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. I know a lot of you guys are probably just getting home from voting. Hi, how everybody? How's everybody? Hi, Tina. How are you? I appreciate you guys hopping on. My family was telling me, Mama, why are you gonna go live? And people are going to be watching the vote and all that kind of stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm like, listen, the polls are just now closing on most of the East Coast and stuff. And so I'm going to answer this wives question because everybody needs their questions answered. So again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me here tonight on White Chat with Gail. I am super excited about today. I hope all of you guys got out and voted. It is so important. And, my prayer is that God's will be done and that we come back together as a nation and united we stand. I believe in that. And so tonight, this chat actually comes from a young lady in Alabama, right? And I did not get the pleasure of talking to this wife. She sent me a message through my messenger here on Facebook. And her question to me is, how do I continue to stay married to a man who's an alcoholic? Hello, Adrian. How are you? Um, Again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys. And how do you stay married to a man who's an alcoholic? And so, what I'm going to say is, I didn't get a chance to talk to this young lady, so I don't know how long her husband has been drinking. I don't know his drink of choice. I don't know any of those things. But I'm going to begin and answer that question right after I do my little commercial, so I'll be right back on here. So again, thank you guys so much for joining me. And so I just want to give you guys some statistics. Since March of 2020, 54% of alcohol sales have went up compared to last year. And what people are saying when I did my research to be able to answer this question is that people have turned to alcohol as their number one choice. And then, of course, drug use to be able to deal with COVID-19 and the loss of jobs and all kind of different things. And so, thank you so much, Tia, for joining me. And so, again, there's a number of reasons why people begin to drink, and a lot of it is for enjoyment. Some of it is to escape problems. Some people just like the feeling of being drunk. Some people want to be social and they feel that they need to drink, and then others use it to deal with pain. Some people use it to just be able to have a good night's sleep. And as you can tell, there's many different variations of why people turn to alcohol, you know, just in general. And this woman, from what she wrote to me, it was very distressing to her. And again, I have no idea how long he's been drinking. If COVID has, brought this to a head for her, I don't have any of that information. I just know she's a young woman from Alabama. And so, if you're dealing with the spouse, or if you're the spouse that have begun to drink, or have been drinking more than normal, being that COVID has hit, I want to really give you some tools and strategies to really deal with the spouse or if you're the person who's drinking, to realize that you're putting stress and strain not just on yourself and your body, but your spouse and your family. So sometimes what happens when you're dealing with an alcoholic, you might think that you are the cause of them drinking because they don't have no escape and they feel that they can't deal with you, so they feel that they need to get drunk. So you might be feeling guilty about it, so you blame yourselves. You might take it personal, like, um, that it's about you, and it's really not about you. It's about that person's choice to decide to drink and to have too much to drink. um, you might think that you can take control of it and cure them. You might think that you can help them stop drinking, right? And I'm talking about somebody that is obsessively drinking. Now, I'm not talking about somebody that's having an occasional glass of wine or a glass of, whatever. I'm talking about somebody who has an addiction problem to alcohol. Then you might be so embarrassed about your spouse drinking so much or about yourself drinking so much that you decide to cover it up. So let me give you some things that you can put in place to help deal with a spouse that is drinking too much. First of all, if your spouse or if you have gotten out of control and became abusive, I don't care who you are. You guys know I stand for marriage, but I do not stand for being abused in any form or fashion. So, whoever this young lady is, I won't say her name, but if you're listening and you're from Alabama, you know who you are. If you are being abused mentally or physically, I say for you to get into a safe space. And if you don't have somewhere to go, I have resources that I can lead you to help you get in a safe space, because nobody deserves to be abused. And as you guys know, domestic violence is has escalated over 62% since COVID has happened, because people are not able to get out. The courts was closed. There was a lot of different things going on. So I have dealt with a lot of wives who have been verbally and mentally and physically abused, and I have helped them get out of that situation, because that's not the will of God for you. So, young lady, if you're being abused, I say get in a safe space, right? Because you only get one shot at this life. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. The first thing is to learn to set boundaries for yourself and for your spouse. And when you're dealing with somebody who has an addiction, if you're not strong in that relationship and you don't learn to take care of yourself, you will begin to have a downward spiral right along with it. So you need to set healthy boundaries for yourself and set healthy boundaries for your spouse. And I know that could be hard because you can't control somebody else, but you can control how you contribute and how you allow them to use you as a crutch to be able to do what they're doing. You have to set healthy boundaries for yourself. Let them know, I'm not tolerating this. This does not make me feel good when I see you do this to you. I'm concerned about you. And here is what I'm going to do. If you don't get yourself in a space where you're getting help, you're getting counseling, realizing that you're drinking entire too much, you're spending entire too much time on that, whatever that is, you need to set those boundaries and you need to stick to them. And in this situation, for your health and your wellness, when you're dealing with somebody with addictions, you have to set boundaries. Because if not, again, you will spiral down with them. I'm not saying that you will begin to drink, but it will begin to wear on your mental and physical health. Number two, ask for help. There are so many different programs out there, not just for the person who's drinking, but for the person that lives in the house with them. There are a lot of support groups that are out there that can help you deal with your spouse that is drinking too much. Because again, the thing is, you do no longer do you have to suffer in silence. A lot of these programs, they have put online, so you can have group therapy, you can have individual therapy, whatever it is. There's a lot of different hotlines, and before when I get off of here, I will post them in my chat, because again, you are worth more, and you do not have to suffer in silence. And this is not something to be embarrassed about. This is something to get help about. Okay. Number three, be honest with yourself and your spouse, right? Be honest with yourself and your spouse. And what do I mean by that? A lot of times we don't want to face what is going on. We want to continue to sweep it under the rug. And COVID has exposed so many different things that we have not dealt with in our marriages, right? Your spouse could have been drinking for a long period of time, but what's happening, you was leaving the house and he was leaving the house, and then y'all would come back together and it was a rinse and repeat. But now you're seeing that behavior happening day after day, and there's no separation, and he's able to escalate because he does not have to leave home. He does not have to go to work. And so he's drinking earlier, or she's drinking earlier, however that's going, right? And it becomes this big mountain when it was always there. We just put the mountain under the rug. So you have to be open and honest with yourself, and you need to be open and honest with your spouse and say, I knew that you drink. I just didn't realize how much you was consuming and how often you was consuming. And this is a concern to me. You have to be open and honest, and you have to face it. Because sometimes, and this is not all the time, but sometimes people have an addiction and they don't even realize it's an addiction because it's became their norm. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes people don't realize they have an addiction because it's became their norm. And it became something like, I'm just using this to unwind. I'm just using this because I'm getting ready to go to bed, or I'm using this to relax. And it's became a habit, and they don't realize that they can't do without that habit. And you have became so conditioned that, oh, they're just having a drink to unwind, or they are just having a drink to relax, or they're just having a drink to go to bed, but not realizing that most of us don't need that to be able to function. I hope I'm making sense to you guys. The last thing is really learn to lift your spouse and your marriage up in prayer, because God can change. I am a strong believer of this. He can change and do absolutely anything. But you have to war in the spirit, and you have to confront that addiction with your mouth, with your words, because your words have power. Now, most of the time, people who are dealing with addictions, if they're functioning outside of their addiction, they will be willing to go to get some help once they realize that this has become an addiction. Now, there are some people that will say, I don't have an addiction, it's you, I don't drink that much, or whatever. Those are the people that you need to go get help for yourself in order to be able to deal with them, and to be able to put boundaries, and not become a liability or a crutch for them to continue down the path that they are on, right? And that's the reason why getting support and not staying and hiding and confronting it is most important. Because again, I know you love your spouse, lady in Alabama, or whoever else I'm speaking to, but you have to make sure that you're safe and sound. That's the number one thing that I'm concerned about. And the second thing is making sure that you set healthy boundaries, so you don't get lost in trying to save someone that does not want to be saved, or trying to get them to admit that they have an addiction, right? That's not your job. Your job is to make sure you get the help that you need to be able to support them through their addiction. But you have to be safe. Okay? And so again, I appreciate you guys so much for hopping on here. My prayer is that you voted right, like your life depended on it. Also, I wanted to tell you guys that BSB 2021, it's going to be a virtual immersion experience. Like I'm working so hard with my team to make sure that you guys are just not sitting at a computer watching us. That you, it's an immersion experience where you're getting up, you're moving, just as if you would be at a live BSB. And I am so committed to being able to do that. All right. So registration is open. So make sure that you visit gailcrowder.com under events. It is there, or go under the BSB tab. I'm telling you, it's going to be absolutely 100% amazing. Like, seriously, I'm so excited. God has already showed me. So don't miss out on that, because I want to make sure, and people who've been to BSB know that I cut off my live registration, because I want to make sure that I'm able to engage, and I'm going to do the same thing with that virtual. I know you're like, well, virtual, you can be, I know I can have people from all over the world, which there are already some people from London and Australia, and some other people already registered. But I'm going to cut registration off at a certain number, because I want to be able to make sure that, for one, you guys get your goodie bags mailed to your home, because I give really good goodie bags. Two, I want to make sure that you get everything that you would experience and get, workbooks, everything virtually. I want it to come to your home. So that's the reason why I am going to cut off registration. And so again, my team was like, you got to be crazy. You're going to be mailing hundreds of good. Okay. And what? That's the reason why I'm going to cut it off. So again, I love you guys to pieces. Again, go to gailcrowder.com. If you need me, I am here. If you have a question or a topic you want me to cover, I'm an open book, anywhere from sex to, as y'all know, I just covered alcoholism. You can either go to my website and, say, Gail, I just need to talk. It's a 15-minute discovery call. I'm not trying to sell you nothing. That's on my website, or you can hit me up on any of my social media. Just say, Gail, this is my question. This is my problem. I promise I will not say your name, but I will tell them the state or the country you're from. Is that a deal? That's a deal. I love you guys to pieces. Remain safe. Make sure that you're wearing your mask. There's, I'm telling you, there's some people that work in my camp that have contracted COVID, and it's breaking my heart, but they're recovering. But again, we can't take this for granted. We can't let our guards down. Again, on Thursday, say Thursday, I will be coming here live with my girlfriends with Evening Tea with Gail. We're going to be spilling all the good tea. So I'll see you guys then at 8 o'clock. I love you guys to pieces. Have an amazing, amazing night.